Okay. Hello everyone. Apologize to everyone. Like due to some technical issue that we have to do it another one. Okay, so sorry. So we will start learning again our learn along series, and today we are going to be learn top five opening traps. So we'll start from the first. From the black side, it will be the black. Okay. Now everyone come. So here the white plays with the e4, and then you played with the e6. So here it will be started from the French opening. Okay. And this is the opening of French, and it is a trap. Now, how it is? D4, D5. When the white plays E5, and when the black replies with the C5, so it will converted into the advanced French opening. Okay. Now here the white plays pawn to C3. Okay. Now the white and black. The black reply with the knight to c6, and here the white comes f3. Now you can see that white knight is supporting the pawn on d4, and the black pieces is trying to attack into the center the pawn which is on d4. Okay everyone. Now how the white can defend this pawn? But here the black turn it is, and black played the queen b6 again. Why? You can see one attack here, second attack here, and the third attack, right? And here the white is defending with only his two pieces. So the black can easily capture that pawn, right? Now, how we can defend this pawn? So white is trying to like let it go. Okay, black capture my pawn. So black is thinking, hey, I can capture that pawn easily because here I have a 3 support and the white has only 2. But there is a trap here. What is the trap? Like if the black captures here, the knight will capture back. This knight will capture and the pawn will capture. Now you can see the queen can easily capture that pawn, right? Yes, but when the queen capture this trap, like black fall into the trap. How? Can we find a move here? I am giving you a 10 second. Can we find it? What the white will play here? Everyone thinks. If you are thinking a right move, okay, we can move the bishop to b5. If you are thinking this, so you are the correct here. How? Let's see. Because we can see bishop b5 check, a discover attack threat. Right? Yes, we will get the queen here. How? The bishop will here. Bishop captures the king, and the king captures, and the queen will capture the queen. And we got the queen here. You see how we get the queen. First, black is thinking to capture the pawn on d4, and white make him into the trap by playing a bishop d3 move. That black thinks that I can capture easily this pawn, but we don't. We cannot capture. Why? Because if we capture, we will lost the queen. How? See again everyone. Pawn cross, knight, knight, and the queen, and the bishop will come, and you can see we lost the queen. So that's why don't capture here. Okay. Now this is a trap from the French side. Okay. Now we will see from the trap from the white side. Okay. And we see one trap from the e4 side. Now we will see from the d4. Okay. Now d4 comes here. Okay. Now black replies with the d5. Okay. It's started with the d4 opening. Okay, everyone. Now, d4, d5 comes. Now, what the white will play here? The white reply with the c4. Okay, giving his a pawn. So, the black accept the pawn here. Okay, and now the white played the pawn e3. Why? Because he wants to capture the pawn back what he gives. Okay, so now black is thinking, no, I will not give you my pawn back. So, the black reply with the b5 pawn to defending the pawn which is on c4. Okay, everyone. Now the black is defending the pawn. So now what white will play here? So white played here pawn to a4 to attack the pawn here to get the c4 pawn. So here the black has two choices. How many choices? Two. Either he can defend with the a6 or c6. Let me see first if he defend with the a6. Okay, so what the white can do here, the white can simply capture the pawn on b5. Why? The pawn will capture us, but what we are getting here, can you find that? I will give you 5 seconds only because it is very easy. Yes, if you are thinking that we can capture this pawn and the pawn will capture, and after that we will go for the rook. So you are thinking very right. You are very correct here. You know how? The pawn capture, and you will get the rook. So with this, we can see that black cannot defend this pawn by moving to pawn to a6, right? Now, can he defend with the c6? Because now if I capture, the pawn will capture and my rook cannot capture the rook. Is it? Let me see it is correct or not for the black. So the pawn will capture the pawn. This pawn will capture the pawn. Now can you find a move from the white side? Think here everyone. At least 1 minute I'm waiting for everyone. Think it. Can find the answer here? Waiting for your move. Yes, if you are thinking that we can bring a piece into the open file, okay, and attack with the diagonal, so you are correct. And which piece can come here? Yes, very nice. In the chat, we got the answer. Very nice. Queen f3. If we bring queen to f3, so you can see this diagonal, it's open and we can take the advantage of it. How? Queen f3. Now, which piece of the black can defend the rook? No one. See, the knight comes, the queen will capture. The bishop comes here to b7, this queen will again capture. So we can see that black fall into the trap. Okay, and this is the black lost his piece. Okay, so that's why when you are playing, so don't try to defend that pawn because see you got one pawn, so don't try to defend it, otherwise you will lost. Okay, that's why. Now the next we will see from the trap from the black again. Okay, now everyone, here started with the pawn again to d4, e5. You can see the black is trying to reply with the e5. Okay, pawn captures, knight comes, knight is attacking the pawn, right? Now the whites defend with the knight. Now here the black again attacks the pawn on e5. We need to defend the pawn. So how could we defend this pawn? Which piece of the white can comes here to defend this pawn? Everyone think here. Which of the white piece can come here to defend the pawn which is on e5? Which piece? So we can see only one piece can come here. The bishop. The bishop is defending, right? Now, but this is a wrong move. Why it is? Everyone. What the black can do here? Black has a very good move here. He can attack the two pieces twice in a time. You can see what is it? Queen to b4. Why it is? We can see queen b4 comes. So it is giving the check and as well as taking the bishop, right? And this queen is attacking the b2 square also. So you can see the move queen b4. So now the queen comes. So bishop has to come here to d2 square. Why? Because if the bishop not come to d2 or he defended with the knight, so we will get the free bishop here, right? So that's why the white has to play bishop to d2. So now here, what black will do? Yes, obviously you are thinking correct. Queen cross b2. Yes, when the queen cross b2 comes, now white is thinking, now how could I defend this rook? Like after a thinking of a long, he gets the idea. What's the idea? He can play bishop to c3. And now we are also thinking from the black, like we made a trap here. So now how can we capture this rook? Black is thinking here, how we can capture. I want to capture a rook here because that's why I will capture this. But how I will capture? That's the question. Can you help me here, everyone? Find your answer. What's the black will play to capture the rook here? Everyone, think here. You will get the answer. It is very easy if you see everyone. Yes, I'm waiting. Yes. Now see. Can we pin this bishop? Like we can see the king is behind. Can we make an absolute pin here? Can we? Yes, we can easily. You know how? This bishop on f8 can come to the b4 square. Yes, bishop b4. Now the bishop cannot capture the queen because we can see this bishop is pinned from this bishop. Yes. So, and we can easily capture this rook. For example, the white played any move here. Like he captured this bishop. So what we can do? We will capture this. Yes or no? No or what? And we can capture this. What we will do here? We will capture the rook. So everyone, when this capture this bishop with the knight. You know why? Because we are getting this rook, right? If the knight comes here, for example, so you win a match. You get the queen here. You know how? The knight captures c2. Knight is giving check to the king. King has no square to go. So the queen has to capture. And then you got a queen here. The pawn, and when your opponents try to defend this pawn, so you can punish him. How? By making this move. Okay, everyone, like this. Now we will go for the next trap. Okay, now this trap we will go and we will see. Now this is a different trap. You know why it is? Because white is playing from the f4 side. He's trying to different opening this time, and we are replying with e5. Okay, this is a new opening. Now see, pawn cross. Now here we played the pawn to d6. Okay, Okay, okay. Just a sec. I will do it. Now it's, yeah, yeah. The new position comes. Okay, 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 everyone. Again, so everyone, again, we are coming from the f4 side, okay? So pawn pushes to f4. So here the black replies with the pawn on e5, okay? Now, e5, the black played. So white captures the e5, and now again the black is giving one more pawn to the white by pushing his pawn to d6. Yes. So black played the pawn to d6, and now it's white to turn. So white accepts the pawn and he captures. And here we will capture with the bishop. Now the white develops his knight to attack into the center side. Now you will see here a weird move here. What's the move the black will play? Can you guess the move? What the black will play here? This is a very weird move, but it is opening. Can find this? Find it, everyone. I'm giving you 1 minute. Find it. It's very weird move you will play. Yes. Now everyone see what move the black will play. A g5. You can see what we are moving. Pawn to g5. The black is moving here. White is thinking he's making his pawn on that square. It is very unusual, right? Because we can see in the opening principles we learn that don't possess your pawns, right? But here the black is doing. Why? Because he wants to make white into the trap. So white is deflecting the trap and he is thinking that it is not a good move, and that's why the white plays the knight to c3. And here black is smiling and saying, now I will show you my trap. And the trap is pawn to g4. Do you know why? Now you can see the white knights has only option to go to g1 and comes to d4 square. Other are not apply because we can see if the knight comes here or here, the queen can easily capture it, right? So here the knight plays knight to d4. Now can we find a very good move from the black side to finish the white games? Yes, we can easily find. Think here, everyone. You have a 1 minute. Think here from the black side. What move? It's correct here. Think. It's very easy move from the black to finish the white game. Waiting for your answers. Okay, we got the answer. Yes, Queen H4. Now, why Queen H4? We can see the check, right? The king cannot move, and any of the white piece cannot come. Only the pawn has to defend, right? And when the pawn comes to G3, and we will sacrifice the bishop on the G3 square. And you can see the bishop is giving check again. The pawn will capture, and now here don't capture the rook. Okay, if you loves with the checkmate, so give the checkmate. Don't try to capture the rook here. Just simply queen cross g3 and make the white into the checkmate. Okay, so that is the trap here. So you can see the white is thinking that he got some free pawns, but he is wrong. We made into the trap. How? You can see by pawn to g5. You can see this move g5. Everyone's think here that it is not a correct move. He will self-develop the knight, but it is the correct move. Pawn to g4. And after that, the white, whatever he will play, for example, he played this, queen h4. The pawn comes, bishop capture, capture, and still it is a checkmate. Okay, everyone. Now we will go for the next one. Okay, now this is the next from the white side we will do. Now e4, e5, and f3, and c6, bishop c4 comes here. Okay, now the knight f6 come. Now here the white is playing his knight to g5. Now why? He wants to target the pawn which is on f7. So that's why the black has to defend the pawn f7, right? So here the black replies with the d5 to defend his pawn to f7 from the bishop and the knight. So the white captures, and now the knight captures back with his, and after that the white sacrifices his knight on f7. You can see the bishop is not supporting, but why the knight? Can anyone thinks here? Yes, if you are thinking that we can capture the knight back, yes. How it is? King will capture here to f7. Can white can move something here to get his knight back? Think, waiting for your answers. Okay, if you are thinking queen f3, so you will be the right. How? You can see queen f3 comes giving the check and attacking the knight also. Right. If the king defends itself on e7, so we will get the knight back. So that's why this king comes to which square? d6. Why? Wants to defend the knight. Okay. Now you can see one and two pieces are attacking, but still we cannot capture the knight here, right? So how we can see this is a trap? Yes, it is a trap, but we have to move some pieces also. What move we will play here? Now we will play pawn to d4. It is a correct move? No. We can attack the knight here by one more piece of the white, knight to c3. We can see now one, two, and three pieces are attacking here. Now the black defends his knight again by moving to knight to e7. Now what we will play? We will play pawn to d4 here. Okay. Now here what the black will play? Black played his pawn to c6 to defend his knight again. So we can see black is defending his knight with a solid pawn support. But don't worry about that. We will just play here. You know what? D cross E5 we will play. It is a correct or not? Everyone. Can you find a move here? What the black will play? Yes, everyone. The pawn cross. Here the king will go there, and now the bishop comes to g5 to pinning the knight. Okay, because the queen is behind that one. So the bishop and the knight and the queen is there, and this bishop is pinning, so that's why the black replies pawn to h6 to attack the bishop. Okay, so here what white reply? White reply with the bishop cross. Now here the h cross g5 by the black, and here we go for the long castle. Okay, now the long castle. Why? Because we can see the attack on the king. The knight captures here, and now this knight will capture, so this will become. So that's why the black removes the attack of the white and goes for the e8 square. Okay, and now you can see, can we get a queen here? Yes. If you see a discover attack, where is a discover attack? Which square we can go? Which square this knight can jump to get the queen? How? Let me think. Hmm. It's very tough or it's very easy. Let me see where the knight can go. The knight can go this square. It is correct. No. Here we will give the check to the king. No, the queen will capture, right? Yes, so where? Can we move the knight to f6? But the pawn can capture. Oh, we can capture the queen. Yes, it is the correct. See everyone, knight f6 if we play, the pawn will capture. Okay, and after that, you will get the queen. And now we have the queen here. So that's we can win the match. Okay, everyone, this is a trap. Now we will go for the next one. Now, everyone, this is a very easy trap, and everyone from the starting of the beginner try to defend the pawn e4. How? Like we can see knight f3 comes to attacking the pawn on e5. So every of the beginners player to try to defend the pawn by moving the pawn to f6. Everyone, like in the starting date, So if you are playing from the white side and your opponents try to defend the pawn which is on e5 with f6 pawn, so you can see here you can easily win the match. How? Just sacrifice your knight to e5 square. Okay, and when the pawn will capture, because see, black is thinking that you are giving his a free knight. Everyone know that knight has a 3 point and why black has the only 1 point. So black is thinking I'm getting a higher value piece, so black is easily captured. And now the black made a mistake here. What mistake? You can see the queen on d1 can come to h5 square to giving the check to the black king. Okay, and now you can see the black has two choices. How many choices? Only two. Either first thing, move the king to defend the check. Okay, second thing is move the pawn to defend the check. So first we will see from the pawn. Okay, if it defends the check with the pawn, so everyone, you can see you can capture queen cross a5. Queen cross e5. Yes, how? We can see now we are threatening. The king has to move and then we will capture the rook or everyone. If it defends with the bishop, we will capture it. Okay. So from this, we will see that the pawn cannot push because the queen will capture and he will take the queen. So now everyone. So what the black will play here? So black will move his king. So if the black moves his king to defend his rook, so he is doing mistake here. What's the mistake? Queen e5 giving the check to the king. Okay, the king has only legal move f7. And now what we will do here? We can see we have to attack the king, right? So how we will attack the king here? We simply moves the bishop to which square to c4. Why? We can see that white bishop is attacking the king and this king has only square to go. Yes, which is square? Yes, g6. Only king to g6. Now, can we attack the king with the white queen? Which square is good? Queen g3 is good to attack the king or queen f5 is correct to attack the king? Which move is correct here? f5 or g3? Let me see. If we move to g3, so we can see the king can go this squares, right? But if I move my f5, so you can see the king has only square to go h6. And now what the white will do? Now the white queen cannot give check because the king can capture. So what white will do? We can see the bishop on which is on c1. If we move the pawn one step or two step, this bishop will give directly check to the h6, right? So the pawn pushes and now we are giving check to the king. The king has no choice. Like we can see, he is already covered by the pieces. So he has to bring his pawn to g5 because the queen will come. So we will easily capture. Now pawn g5 comes. Okay. Now everyone we can see we cannot capture the pawn directly because the queen is there still. So what we will do here to mate this king into the checkmate. So we will play pawn to h4, opening the rook file to attacking the king. Okay, the pawn cannot capture because it is pinned here. Okay, now if he played his pawn or his knight to there, we will simply capture this with the queen and checkmate. You can see the knight is there. Okay, if he tries to bring his queen to f6, so don't capture here. Capture it, the king will go there and give check, knight captures, and you can see we have two options to give checkmate here. Queen to g5 we will move. It is also a checkmate. We can see bishop is covering this diagonal. Okay, the king cannot go. And the second move to giving a checkmate is bishop to h6. The king cannot go anywhere. So you can choose any of the piece to giving the checkmate. So this is a trap when your opponent is playing the pawn to f6 to defend his pawn to e5. Okay, so you can simply capture the knight and get the pieces or get the checkmate. Okay, everyone. Now the next trap is from the black side. e4, e5. This step everyone knows because most of the players are doing this and we call it the scholar mate also. Like queen h5 giving a checkmate threat on f7. Simple. Like we are just moving the pieces and giving the checkmate. So how the black will defend? See this trap we are learning from the black side. How we can defend this trap. Okay, and we make into the white into the trap. How? Now see. we can see this queen is attacking the f7 right now and the bishop. Okay, so we need to defend a checkmate. So first of all, pawn comes to g6. Why? Because if we made any kind of move, for example, I made knight f6 and attacking the queen, so we will lost the game. See, the queen give the checkmates to us. We cannot, right? So that's why we have to push the pawn to g6. When the pawn g6 come, the queen is under attack. So queen is thinking like white will do queen f3. Again, the white is threatening a checkmate on f7 square. So black is thinking now again he's attacking. So I will defend again. How? The knight f6 to defend the checkmate on f7. Okay. Now what the white will do? So white is thinking, I will again attack your f7 square. How? Bringing the queen to b3 again. The white is continuously attacking the f7 square. So everyone now let them capture the pawn on f7. Let them. How? Just simply move the knight to d4. The white is thinking, I got a free pawn. See, knight is attacking the queen, right? But the white can capture and give the check. So he needs to move the king. Right now we cannot capture that. So the king will move. And now this queen will come to c4 to defend the bishop. See, why the queen is coming to c4 square? Why not going to any other? That's the question, right? So answer is that when the queen will go any other square, so the king can easily capture the bishop, right? So white needs to defend his bishop also. So for that, he will move queen to c4. And now what black will do here? Black gave the one pawn. Okay. So now what the black will do? We can find a good move for the black? Think here everyone. It's very easy and tricky move. Okay, if you are thinking push the pawn to b5, attack the queen and distract from the diagonal, so you are correct. How? Pawn to b5, right? Everyone. So this queen is under attack by the pawn. The queen cannot capture the pawn, knight is there. Okay, and the queen cannot go there, the knight is. This square, the knight. This, the pawn. So queen has to leave the diagonal of the bishop, which is she's supporting. Okay, so queen has to move, and then they will capture the bishop on f7. So we can see that first white making his queen to h5 square, to attacking, to giving a checkmate threat. So we make white into the trap, like attack my pawns, knight to d4. Okay, everyone, this is how you can win from the black side when is any of your opponent tries to give you check from the h5 square. Now we will go for the next. Okay, this trap you will see here. Now this trap is different. d4, d5, c4, e5. And the next thing, e4, e5, knight to c6. Now bishop comes here. Okay, pin attacking the knight, pawn to a6 and a4, where the bishop goes to a4, pawn to d6, pawn to d4. Now b5, and here the white bishop defends here to b3 square. Knight capture, knight capture, and the pawn captures the knight. Queen captures the pawn on d4. Now, can the black can win here? Can the black can win? Yes. How? The black is attack the bishop here. How it is? Let's see. Pawn to c5, attacking the queen first. Okay. Now, queen comes to attack the rook on a8. Yes. So black needs to defend. So black plays the bishop to e6 to attacking the queen. Now the queen has to defend. Queen give, and now you can see queen comes to c6, bishop d7, and now white needs to defend the queen, and when he defends, we trap the bishop. The bishop cannot go anywhere. So how that happened? Now see everyone again. Okay, e4, e5, knight f3, knight defends the pawn, bishop, and b5 is a royal operation. Okay, everyone thinks. Now attack the bishop, bishop moves to a4, now pawn to d6, pawn d4 by the white. Here, black is not capturing this pawn, or he's bringing the pawn to b5, attack the bishop. Okay, so bishop defends to the b3 square, knight capture, pawn and pawn. And here, so black's turn. So black trap the bishop. How? Attacking the queen first. The queen goes, and then then how we got this bishop free. Okay. Now, the last and not the least, this is a Lasker trap. Now see how it is. Okay. Now e d4, d5, c4, and now here we will see that pawn comes to e6. Okay. Now pawn comes to e6. Knight brings c3 square, knight f6, and now bishop g5 here. Everyone pinning the knight. Okay. Now knight defends to d7 to avoid the pin. When the bishop will capture, so knight will capture back. So black is thinking like that. Okay. Now pawn captures by the white, pawn captures by the black, knight captures. You can see this knight is pinned here, so the white easily captures it, but the black cannot, because here it is pin, a relative pin. If we capture this, so the black will lose his queen by the bishop, so black will not do, but the black did. We can see the black cannot, black did. Why it is? Why the black is giving his queen free? Why? Everyone, let's see why. Because there is a trap here. What is the trap? When the white captures the queen, okay, bishop gives a check from the b4 square. We can see the king has no square, so he has also bring his queen to d2. And now here we captures his queen, and now we got a free extra piece of the white. Everyone. So that's why we are making white into the trap. Okay, now we learn from the e6, right? Like what if he play from the e6? But if what we will play the pawn to e5. This is also a trap. Now see how. Pawn capture, pawn pushes to d4. Okay. Now pawn to e3 by the white. Here bishop b4 check. Okay, to the black king. Now bishop defend by the d2, and now here pawn captures. Black is giving his free bishop. Why black is giving free bishop? There is a trap. Yes, it is a trap. Now how and where? Bishop cross, pawn cross. And now everyone, can the king can capture this pawn? No, we cannot capture because when the king will capture this, this queen will come to capture the queen. Yes, we can see if the king capture the f7, f2 square, then the queen will capture the queen because who's defending the queen? So that's why the king has to move to e2 square, right? And now here, everyone, here the pawn captures and give the knight and give the check. Why we are making the knight here? Because the black wants a move. So that's why he's giving a check. Okay, making the knight. Now again, can the rook can capture this? Can the rook can capture the knight? If you are thinking that the white will capture the knight, no, he cannot. The reason is that when he captures, so you can see the black will bring his bishop to that g4 square and king is in check and the queen lost. Okay, so we cannot. So for that reason, the king has to go again to even square back. And now the black will come to h4 to give the check again. Yes, now the white defends his king to d2 square and then the black played his knight to c6 attacking the bishop. Bishop backs to the c3 to defend itself. Okay, now the white bishop, like light square bishop of the black, is attacking the queen on d1. Now the queen defended on to the by the bishop to e2. Now long castle, and we can see that white loses his queen. How? Because king is in the check. Okay, whatever piece will become here, like bishop comes here, capture that knight is there. So that's why here the white lost the game. So whatever, like we are playing here e6 or e5, we can see e6 or e5, we made white into the trap. So these are some opening traps that you can do in your games to win the match against anyone. Okay, if your opponents does anything like this, so you can easily go for the win. Okay guys, so play well and use some these traps into your games. Thank you very much everyone. Bye bye guys, have a nice day.